Now, it's interesting concept right here. The transmission is right here. The most American thing ever. It's true that the Kadjar may be gone, but there's one thing the Renault Austral has in common with the Kadjar, and the thing they have in common is the fact that they're based on the same platform as the Nissan Qashqai, everyone. It should be noted that Renault has changed a lot in the past 20 years, guys. 20 years ago or so, back in the 90s even, Renault was a laughingstock manufacturer. They were known for making low-quality cars that were just cheap to afford, but that wouldn't really last very long, and that really had nothing exciting compared to their French siblings like Peugeot and Citroën. For a price of 41,000 euros, is this Renault Austral good value for money or not? We're gonna find out in a moment, everyone. Let's get on with this review right now. Renault Austral, everyone. Now let's just take a moment and look at it from this angle. The front appears to be a really typical Renault style of today. In fact, it started with the Renault Megane, and I know the Renault Clio also has this. They have this sort of light all the time, and even the Renault Talisman has it. Le Talisman. I'm not sure how it should be pronounced, but guys, this is the new Renault badge, by the way. Now, this is really interesting. This looks like the 1990s. The good old 90s. Until the 90s, they had this sort of badge, and then they abandoned this concept. They went for something chrome. If you study the Renault Austral from this angle, you may notice that the front has gone rather vertical. This could be a strong reference to ancient Renault models. Renault has been touching its ancestry models, and it could be a reference to the Renault Dauphine as well. It appears to be so, because the Renault Dauphine also had a really vertical front, but round-edged as well, guys, like this. So yes, black alloys with 5 spokes, everyone. Well, the top is actually gray, but if you look inside, it's black as well. It's really interesting. Gray and black, and it's written Alpine on top. Alpine spirit. It's good, so they've aimed for a rather sporty theme. Now, this particular Renault Austral is silver, but you do get the black trim on it as well. So like here you get them black linings. As we approach the rear, it's a strong Renault identity. So Renault has gone all designed like this. It's the same thing as the Renault Megane and the Renault Talisman. But there's something different. It appears that Renault has been developing an obsession with trying to connect the rear lights together. And this has become a rather common trend in today's generation. Everybody wants to connect the rear lights. Thank goodness Renault hasn't done that completely. Thank you, Renault. Again, Renault badge. An actual air vent right here. Parking sensors at the front and at the rear. And it should be noted you get a 360-degree parking camera as well. Now this is a great surprise to be having, guys. I'm going to show you all some wonderful stuff. The quality has improved big time. This is the first time I actually admire the sound of the Renault doors. Listen to this. Now, a remarkable aspect I really like about this Renault Austral is the fact that Renault has minimized the use of hard plastic. It's only here. One thing that should be remarkable, guys, is that Renault has gone a bit sharp-edged this time as we approach the rear. Now, usually it was all round-edged with the Renault Captur, with the Renault Espace, with the Renault Megane, with the Renault Talisman. But this time we see some sharp edges right here, and it's more prominent as we approach this light area. It's really interesting how they've gone about it. So it's like vertical here, then straight line, diagonal above. Whilst exploring the exterior of this Renault Austral, I also noticed some questionable aspects, guys. A bit of problems. The first problem I'd like to remark is that the grille looks really promising and everything, alright? I like the concept, I like the designs, but some parts of it don't have any purpose at all. Like for some reason, this area, it's all plastic. The air intake is only in this area, and above, there's no air intake at all, guys. Another problem I'd like to remark, guys, is that Renault has decided to put the reverse lights all the way down here. Wouldn't it be better to just put the reverse lights above or something? Now it is time to explore the interior of the Renault Austral, everyone. About the seats of Renault. In this particular Renault Austral, you get Alcantara seats with the fabric combined. So in the middle it's all fabric, here it's Alcantara, and on the side it's leather with some blue stitching, guys. Now this has to be a reference to the Alpine mark. Alpine mark is a brand under the Nissan Renault group. So yes. So it's very interesting, and it's also present right here. So you get this like squidgy plastic with blue stitching. The blue stitching is prominent throughout the interior. Now over here you get Alcantara onto the door and some leather. It's quite squidgy as well. Now this is premium, guys. This is really, really good. Renault has paid a lot of attention to details lately over here. And you get some chrome right here, guys. Wonderful. And hard plastic on top. And the chrome feels good as well. And it gets even better, guys. Even your seat belts has this blue stitching on it. Most Nissan Renault aspect ever. I don't know if it's just me, but the Alliance has developed an obsession with crossover SUVs, and it gets endless, guys. Sitting in this Renault Austral just feels exactly like there's this Qashqai vibe about it. It feels like the Qashqai or the Juke. It's there, except the only difference is that this time the center cocoons you, and it's just like the Qashqai. It's really good the way they've gone about it. Now, it's interesting concept right here. This is the exact same thing I saw in the Renault Espace. In fact, I don't know what it is about Renault, but they are obsessed with sliding things. Just look at this. This is good. And it's good for your hand to rest here whilst you control the things. Very nice. And then I'm not going to be surprised if this is a drawer. It's a drawer. What? Oh, okay, I'm surprised. Anyways, so overall, the interior is very promising, guys. These days, car manufacturers like to put everything together. They like to put the infotainment system and the digital instrument cluster right next to each other. Except in here, you get this air vent splitting everything up. Now, if you want me to be honest, I'm not really a fan of this concept because it's just not really original. The steering wheel, guys. The steering wheel looks awesome. It's not a circle if you look carefully at it. It looks like it's a bit... Yeah, it looks like a straight line over here above. Now, of course, if Peugeot could do this, so can Renault. But the difference is that Renault has a better steering wheel because it's an appropriate size for its crossover SUV size. And it's a 3-spoke steering wheel with piano black trims and this nice shiny trim on top. Really good. It's pleasant to hold on to. It's a bit cold. That's what I like about it. Here is your wireless recharge for your telephone, and it gets even more interesting. You can slide this whole thing right there, and you get extra storage right underneath here, which is deep. It's really nice, guys. And it gets even better. This is not your central console, guys. Renault has been super generous. This over here is your central console, guys. Get a little storage space right here, guys. And this door bin is rather nice, rather pleasant. This door handle is also good, I like it. But it cannot fit a big water bottle in there, it seems. But it is spacious. But glove box right here, easy to open from the driver's side. Now the glove box is deep, but not that wide. It's not that spacious. And you get additional storage space right up here, guys. This is interesting. Now over here, storage space, and you also get a mirror, a rear view mirror to see the passenger's backside. And you all were probably wondering, where's the transmission? The transmission is right here. The most American thing ever, except this is French. And let's just take a moment and admire the presentation of the window buttons right here. They took a lot of care and time for this. In this interior, I also noticed a problem. The problem I'd like to point out is this concept in the interior is not original. I don't smell Renault in this interior. I don't sense Renault in this interior. As soon as I saw this, I thought of something the German competitors have already been doing, and then this driver-centric attempt and everything. And then this part of the interior also reminds me of something other competitors have been doing. So what I'm trying to say is that Renault clearly found its way. Like, they're clearly doing something great. But it seems like this time the inspiration did not come from the gorgeous country of France. It came from other competitors, guys. There was a time Renault used to be all revolutionary. They used to do everything from scratch. It used to be all their ideas. But then it seems like lately the Renault, Nissan, they've been looking at each other for inspiration, or they've been looking elsewhere for inspiration. Now it's time to explore the rear seats of the Renault Austral, everyone. Yes, the Renault Austral rear seats. Let's go for it. So, now, ease of entrance is there, guys. My leg room and my knee room, it all depends on the seating adjustment of the driver and the front passenger. Otherwise, I can say that for now, legroom is good. It seems good, but my knee room can be limited, guys. And otherwise, even if it's limited, it's not a big deal because the back of the seat is quite cozy. It's not firm at all. Guys, I have quite a good amount of headroom despite the panoramic roof. Wonderful. And the headrest is... The headrest is a bit on the firm side. And speaking of firmness, the back seat also feels quite firm. It's like sitting on a bench. But then I guess this is because of the sport theme of this interior. Oh, it is never enough to have sporty features or to have a nice interior, guys. We are going to cover practicality, and I already see a problem. Oh my goodness, why is it so difficult for the French manufacturers to just have a strap to pull this down? With quite a good number of French manufacturers, and Renault is like... Okay, thank goodness this was easy to pull down, right? Because usually there would be a strap or something, but here... Okay, this was easy. Anyways, so nice armrest right here, 2 cup holders in there, air vents right here, USB ports right here, and that's about it, guys. Otherwise you get this nice flexible rear seat pocket, and a quite spacious door bin right here, guys, and it's good for its price and segment. Wow. I'm actually surprised. And they also have Alcantara right here and this nice material here. Beacon of up lighting's all the way at the back right there. And you do get this nice handle here and coat hook right here. Notice one thing, guys. The rear door does not open all the way up. It opens automatically until here. You have to push it up yourself. So yes. Anyways, now this is the boot space, guys. Gets really interesting. 12-volt socket right here. Latch right here to pull the rear seats down. Let's go for it. Ta-da! Ta-da! And you get lighting at the back, which is so bright. It's as bright as Paris itself. Now the space at the rear is average for its size and segment, and honestly I was not really expecting much because crossover SUVs of this size are not really meant for moving houses, but you could if you want to, guys. It's got its potentials, and you get this tailor point right at the rear, and nice material it's lined with. Foldable rear seats, guys, but now there's another question, guys. You just have to watch out for the ridge right here, and the ridge is quite prominent. There is even a gap here, so just be careful nothing slips in there. You have to keep an eye for things. And now there's also another thing. The belt is in this position. Whenever you move it, it goes here. So be careful, whenever folding the seats up, you do not want to lose the belt in there. You have to pull the belt back here, and then pull the seat back up. Like this, so that the belt stays present. I just have one thing to say for my conclusion of the Renault Austral. Bravo. Bravo, Renault. Renault did a wonderful job with the Renault Austral, and I think it is just as interesting as having a holiday in Australia, guys. If you can't go to Australia, bring Australia to you with this Renault Austral, literally. Now, it's a combination of multiple things. The French driving pleasure, a bit of Japanese reliability, or perhaps precision, if not reliability, coming from Nissan, which is a good thing, guys. And you get this qualitative feel about it. There's something about the interior that feels surprisingly well built. And another thing is that it is, in terms of value for money, for a price of 41,000 euros, I think this Renault Austral is great value for money. It's not the best of the best, but it is great, guys. The rear seat felt just as good as the front seats, guys. It was not pretentious at all. Great job, Renault. And the practicality solutions were surprisingly good. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was stressing out. Because usually the French car manufacturers, they tend to have hit or miss practicality. Like one place tends to be super good, next place not good. My humble opinion of this Renault Austral. Oh, I love it. I love this Renault Austral, guys. This is one of the best crossover SUVs of today's generation. Something desirable, something good quality, something that feels well built and quite premium thanks to the Alcantara and the sporty feel. And also, it should be fun to drive because it is French with the Japanese precision, guys, thanks to Nissan. So it's really promising. But just one thing I have to say is that Renault, stick to yourself. Be yourself, please, okay? Do not look at others for inspiration. Look at your history for inspiration. Look at Paris for inspiration if you need to. Okay, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run, guys. I'll see you all next time.